So this is the firewall for the 46 Dodge. I took it back out, and I just wanted to show all the steering components because there's a lot to making a steering system, and I never did it before. So I stuck a hole in the firewall for it to go through, and then I put some bolt holes in the side of that firewall, and I'm probably going to have to put a 1/8 inch bracket on the side of the firewall and connect it to the old firewall so it stiffens it up. And you could see that I made the two little L brackets on that clamp that holds the bottom of the steering column onto the firewall because they weren't long enough. And then I cut a little piece of that double D shaft, and then I have a universal joint, and then I made a coupling that goes from 5/8 to the double D shaft, and then I have the 90-degree gearbox, and then I have another shaft coupling that goes from 5/8 to double D, and that's the original shaft that was on the 91 Dodge Dakota. So I made this bracket that's connected to the upper A-frame support, and what that bracket does is holds that 90-degree gearbox on there so that it's really stiff. And you can see I had to cut and weld it a few times because I wanted to make sure it was really stiff, and it started out not having as many parts on it as what it has now. And any playing, it's going to make playing the steering wheel and make it feel spongy, and I didn't want that. So now I put all the steering components in, and you can see the gearbox, it's bolted up, and so is the universal joint and the steering column. And then up by the firewall I have the bracket on that holds the steering column onto the firewall. On the inside I still need to make a bracket for the inside to connect it to the old firewall because that new firewall is not very strong. And then the next thing I have to do is connect the shifter linkage, because I probably should have had a shorter steering column, but that's what I ended up with, so I have to make the linkage now. So I just wanted to show a side view of all the steering components, and that there's clearance to all around the A-frame so that way everything can turn. And right now things are a little bit loose. I'm going to have to tighten up the gearbox, and it's shimmed. And also I'm going to have to put some kind of collar around this because it's a little loose also. But I can get my hand down and into take off the nut off of the motor mount, and I can also get to all the spark plugs real easily. And I can probably even get to the starter underneath of here, and hopefully I can get a starter small enough that I can get in with the headers on. But right now you can see that that starter is extremely tight. So right now the only way to get that starter on is to put the header on with the starter. So I'm going to have to get a miniature starter. That's it for